Gets to strut his stuff. It's a stage he knows. Top 10 performance from him in this equivalent one year ago. Bennett tries to move up the outside, also to be present for Ethan Vernon.
Yeah, starting to come down quite quickly now. It was creeping up. Everybody wanted to be at the front, but they didn't want to put the pace on, and the pace really is on now.
Cote.
Pierre-Andre Cote now for NSN takes over, but are we seeing attacks at the front here?
Oh, he's gone. So Dillier was just encouraging his break. Moscon can get back in. He hasn't given up on this one just yet. So they're scrapping amongst themselves as they're down to the final 5 kilometres. It's a solo raid for glory here for the Pinarello Q36.5 pro cycling rider from Canada. Former Canadian national road race champion. He was also a silver medalist in his national time trial championship. So decent rouleur, decent watts available. And this was the moment when things started to split up a little bit. And was it a full-blooded attack from the breakaway this week?
Yeah, he chose the moment where, you know, just at the end of the turn of Moscon, because he realised that Moscon is probably just as strong. Dillier was starting to tire, but I think it was the wrong move.
Yeah.
We saw yesterday that they all stayed together and they all almost fought to the end. That was a mistake from Sarkowski to do that, and I'm afraid that means that, you know, this breakaway is doomed now.
Yeah, I mean, they needed to, and how quickly could they re-establish cooperation? Can Moscon go up and say, look, no more attacking, we've got to try and survive? And that's what awaits them. Just outside 1 kilometre to go, they've got a long right-hander. That tends to stretch the peloton thin. And then that final right-hander with just over, what, about 5:50 to go, that's where things get a little bit interesting. They'll try and carry as much speed as they possibly can. A little bit of a change in the characteristic at the front. We're seeing the Groupama's start to move up in those blue jerseys with red left-hand sleeves. They've got their new man, Milan Minor, who's going to try and unseat Milan Major. Take the glory today, but it's Ethan Vernon that believes, and he's got his teammate Cote on the front with the Jaco Alulas and Ben O'Connor still capable of staying in there. They're about to overhaul the breakaway riders, still 4K to go.
Yeah, they're actually killing the breakaway here. You know, the speed of them, they're coming up really, really fast now. Only 10 seconds, if that, at the front, and away they've got Luke Plapp up towards the front. But I'll say this again, now is the time that you want to, you hit that 3 kilometres ago, that's the time you want to start coming to the front. We saw them pushing and shoving coming up a lot earlier than this. You don't want to use your teammates. NSN have come up in numbers and brought it back, but this is what you don't want to do. This is a break killer.
Oh, and Moscon appreciating that, another effort, and Nick Zakowski wants to be last man standing. No competitivity award, but maybe, just maybe, he's thinking that he can survive for glory here today, and that little injection and extra attack just gives them a momentary reprieve. Maybe it means they can survive another couple of 100 metres, but they're going to come to 3 kilometres to go, and that's all it, and all done for the breakaway today. Chapeau and congratulations. Assemble over on the left-hand side of the road and leave it up to the sprinters to go for glory. Good news for the GC riders. They've made it to the 3 kilometres to go point, and it's Groupama FDJ that take it up on the front. They've got numbers.
First time we've seen this. I said it'll be interesting to see. Now the spotlight is in Matteo Milan, and that's why they've got the train at the front. They've realised they've got a top sprinter now, and they want to give them the best opportunity.
Well, a divide on the best route to take to glory here today, with Groupama FDJ on the right-hand side leading the larger of the two pelotons, but it's the Ineos Grenadiers squad that have decided to take it up, and they're starting to grind their way ahead of the Groupama FDJs just as they lose riders who are trying to find teammates by sweeping across to the other side of the road. The Grenadiers squad, they're going to re-attach in the middle of the road by the looks of things, and what's the net effect? Well, you've got the
Alpecin Premier Tech up there as well in the dark blue. Ineos have been pushed out of it a little bit. This is some lead out here from Groupama FDJ United. They really are pushing hard, giving Matteo Milan the best.
Little treks for the slightly better known Jonathan Milan, starting to poke their noses into the wind now, but we're also seeing the Alpecin Premier Tech, because Gerben Tyson, fine 4th place finish yesterday. Can he come up with the glory? As they all have, and most teams indeed have, plenty of riders feeling fresh and feeling frisky for the fight today. 1,600 metres to go, and still Ineos Grenadiers haven't quite managed to make it up there, but I think they're about to arrive ever so soon now. Lotto Intermarché as well, also moving up on the left-hand side. They're spreading wide.
Yeah, Josh Darling is trying to bring up Welsford now. He's in the left-hand side. It's a bit messy in the right-hand side. Ethan Vernon is there with two of his teammates, NSN, but this is a tricky corner. It's a sweeping one, and the next sweeping one is about 500 metres to go.
So heading under the kite now, 1,000 metres remaining. They've managed to negotiate that tricky right-hander. They've assembled what's left of the bunch and into position, and it's still the Alpecin Premier Tech squad. Have a rider on the front. They're all anxiously looking around to see whether sprinters are. NSN looking good. Where's Vernon as he looks to move up? Welsford is in the pocket. Looks as if it's a little bit of freelancing to be done for Jonathan Milan as he's trying to pick up, and he's close to his brother, I think. Certainly a rider from the decathlon squad through the final right-hander now with 550 metres to go. Can they manage to stay upright? Well, we heard that that noise of the carbon fibre. One of the Groupama FDJ riders, prime positioner, is he's moving up at just the right time. Welsford is there as well. Here comes Mattia Milan as well. It's looking. Then here comes Jonathan Milan against Vernon all the way to the line. Malincelli coming with a late run. Will he get there in time? No! It's Jonathan Milan gets the victory 2 days in succession. Fantastic performance, beautifully timed, beautifully judged, and once again he is the preeminent force, and Jonathan Milan gets the glory on stage 5. And what about that for an exhausting finale? Just one rider we think going down, and that's probably as good a return as you're going to get.
You can see it here just coming in, a lot of pushing and shoving. Just looking at the Groupama rider in the just slides in that corner. He was in about 20th place there, but I look behind you, you hear the crash, but just watch this. Even Welsford, he's down in about 20th place. He's been brought up in the left-hand side, but this time Ethan Vernon was in front of Milan. Milan was in, what, 5th place at the moment. Frodois comes up, tries to grab the wheel. Case ball on the left-hand side. Malicelli was in Milan's wheel, but Ethan Vernon opens up. He could have closed the door in Milan, but he didn't, and it was a drag race by then. Malicelli behind both of them. Blickra comes up on the left-hand side. Ethan Vernon just couldn't hang on to that one there, and Milan takes that quite easily from Blickra and Malicelli. With Mies gets up there in 4th place, but again, 2nd day in a row, Sam Welsford too far back. I think it's Skero over there gets another, what, 5th, 6th place, but unfortunately for Milan's brother, just sliding out in that corner there. But yet again, as you say, he comes up at the right time. That was a bit of a drag race at one point between Ethan Vernon and Milan, but Milan won that hands down.
Yeah, that was power.
I think it's Skero over there gets another, what, 5th, 6th place, but unfortunately for Milan's brother, just sliding out in that corner there. But yet again, as you say, he comes up at the right time. That was a bit of a drag race at one point between Ethan Vernon and Milan, but Milan won that hands down.
Yeah, that was power.